All right, so we have lesson 2-1, writing and solving equations. Today, what we're going to be doing with that is using the algebraic method to solve equations and to write an equation to model real-world situations. So playing a number, it says, what's my number? It says, make sense of the problem, determine the number, and explain how you came up with the solution. If you multiply me by 3, so it says, if you multiply me, we don't know what 3 is, so we'll just do like a line, right? If you multiply me by 3 and increase that by a value of 5, so that means I'm going to add 5, I am 20. So that means all this equals 20. Well, if we don't know what a number is, you learned in 6th grade, 7th grade that you use a variable. So this would be an x. So if in order to get 20, I had to add 5. So in order to backtrack, I would have to subtract the 5. Now, the property of equality says what I do to one side, I have to do the other. So that becomes a 0. So that 5 cancels. This becomes a 15. My 3x just comes down. My equal sign comes down. So now I'll have 3x equals 15. Well, if I multiplied x to get 15, I have to divide 3 from 15 to get x. So I divide both sides by 3. This 3 divided by 3 actually gives me a 1. It doesn't cancel. It gives me a 1. That is a 1x equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5. So what is my number? My number is 5, right? That's what my number is. Number 2, it says you may have used an equation to answer number 1. Write the equation that could be used to represent number 1. 3x plus 5 equals 20. For each equation, tell whether the given value of x is the solution. Explain. Okay, so for each one, for number 3, they give you what x equals, and so you just have to plug it in and work it out. So you have 2 plus 4 times x, which is 6, minus 1 equals 22. Order of operations, right? You have parentheses, exponents, multiplication, and division. And then you have adding and subtracting. They go hand in hand. It's not like an order. They go hand in hand. So the first thing I got to do is my parentheses. I have 6 minus 1. 6 minus 1 is 5. I'm going to multiply that by 4. Bring down the 2. Bring down the equal and the 22. And then 4 times 5 is 20. Plus 2 equals 22. So does 22 equal 22? Yes, it does. So this is yes. All right, the answer for this is yes, right? And the reason, explain, well, I did mathematical reasoning, and there is my mathematical reasoning for B. Probably should have just chose one color and stuck with it. I'll do that now. All right, so for B, B is letting x equal 24. So this is 12 minus 24 divided by 4 equals 8. And so this equals, all right, so let's see. So this will be 24 divided by 4. That's 12 minus 6 equals 8. Does 6 equal 8? Well, no, it doesn't. So the answer is no. All right, the answer for that one is no. All right, so red for C, we'll have 3.8 plus 6 times 0.9. And let's see, that equals, it's supposed to equal 8.6. So let's see, 6 times 0.9. So 454 with one dot. So that would be there. So that is 3.8 plus 5.4, which that equals 9.2, which does not equal the 8.6, right? It does not equal the 8.6. For the answer for that one is no as well. One way to solve the equation containing a variable is to use the algebraic method. This method is called symbolic method, or solving equation using symbols. All right, so the algebraic method, right, is to knowing your properties. Right here under the math tip, there's your properties. If you're watching this and you're in my class, I have these on my math wall over there. But these are your properties, okay? Make sure that you know these properties. These properties let you know what you can and cannot do. All right, these properties let you know what you can and cannot do. So when you have an equation such as this, there is an order that you have to follow by using your properties. That's why they have all the properties listed here for you. This is a great example. This is a great example for you to go back to, so that way you can kind of see and make sure that you're following all of your stuff. All right. So A, right, it says to solve what's my number problem using the equation you wrote in item 2 with the scientific, all right, using the algebraic method. Okay, using the algebraic method. All right, so I am going to probably need some extra room. You are too. There's no way that you can do all this on like a single sheet or kind of things like that, right? So let's see here. I'm going to zoom in for me because it'll give me kind of more room to write if I zoom in on those problems. But for you, you may need to use a separate sheet of paper. All right, so I have negative 5x, negative 5x. Let me shrink this down a little bit more. Minus 6 equals 1. All right, and so that is the original equation, right? That's the original. Actually, I should have started with B. A, I skipped A, right? Let me go back up to A. So this is 3x plus 5 equals 15, right? That's the original. The first thing I need to do is to subtract a 5 from both sides. So I'll say 3x plus 5 minus 5 equals 15 minus 5. And that is the subtraction property of equality that I used. All right, subtraction property of equality. And then I have 3x equals 15. How did I get there? Is because I combined like terms. Okay, let me scoot this over a little bit. So I have the 3x equals 15. I will then need to divide a 3 by both sides. And that is the division property of equality. Division property of equality. And then I just simplify to get my answer. And like I said, the 3's become a 1. So that's an x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. All right. Simplify to get my answer. All right. So now you're expected to do the same things for these for the next 6 problems. They expect you to do basically the same thing for the next 6 problems. You're going to need to use a separate sheet of paper. All right, you're going to need to use a separate sheet of paper. And I'm not going to do every one of these. You're going to have to do these on your own. Let's see, I'll do B and then I'll do E is the ones that I'll do. So this is the original. We have negative 5x minus 6 plus 6 equals 1 plus 6. That is the addition property of equality. Addition property of equality. So negative 5 equals 7. I just combine like terms there. Let's see. And then I'm going to divide a negative 5 by both sides. 7 over negative 5. That is the division property of equality. All right. And then I will simplify to get my answer. That becomes 1. So x is negative 7 over 5. All right. E would look something like this. So this is again the original. The first thing I would do is subtract the 7. X over 4 plus 7 minus 7 equals 12 minus 7. Again, that is the subtraction property of equality. That is x over 4 equals 5 because I combine like terms. I will now multiply a 4 to undo the division, right? You multiply a 4 by both sides, and that is the, let me write that out down here. I would multiply a 4 by both sides, and that is the multiplicative property of equality, right? And then I'm going to simplify, and that would be x equals 20. All right? That would be x equals 20. All right? Numbers 4 and 5 are check your understanding. Numbers 4 and 5 are to check your understanding and to see if you have a proper understanding of B, C, D, E, F, and G. Okay? Those are to check your understanding. Those are exactly what they are, right? To check your understanding. Okay? So you plug this back in. Is x equals 4 a solution? So you say 2, 4 minus 3 plus 7. That equals 2 times 1 plus 7. That equals essentially 2. That's 2. So that would be 9. Does 9 equal 23? No, it does not. So it does not. So the answer is no, because 9 does not equal 23. Which property of equality would you use to solve x over 5 equals 3? Well, it's dividing, right? So you have to use the opposite. So the opposite is multiplication. So you would use the multiplication property of equality. You would use the multiplication property of equality, right? Because you would have to multiply a 5 by both sides. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end this video. I will do a part 2 to cover 6 through 12. All right.